few
Yeah,
when I
bring some calls where that happened, dude, and let's just review
mhm,
and see
yeah,
how we can like let's get actually technical with it and review exactly the situation where that happened, and I can give you some really solid feedback on how to overcome that. Cool?
right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Jackson, tell me about this call, man.
Yeah, so he loved it. He was down, but he wanted to talk to his sales manager before he committed, and then he wanted to talk to one of my previous clients, kind of like, see what his experience was like before he submitted. But he was like completely down, but I tried to hit him with like the mirror principle thing and everything I could, but it didn't work.
And what do you do? What do you offer?
Yeah, I help salespeople that are stuck at 5 to 10 K per month. I help them leverage social media to make 20 to 50K per month.
Salespeople, so like you help them make sales like
I
for
help
their
them build their
offer.
teams, get
Okay.
sales, build an audience around their industry.
Okay. And you're saying salespeople? What kind of salespeople?
My niche is door-to-door sales, but
Okay.
I've been kind of expanding a little bit towards remote sales as well. But this is a door-to-door sales guy right here.
Okay. Cool. Let's take a listen. One thing I'll say is the call is 30 minutes. Actually, no, I don't think it's 30 minutes. I think it's 2x. No, I think it's longer. All right, let's take a listen.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello? You can go to like a minute 30. That's when it actually starts. I think you're awesome, awesome. How's where you calling from today? Where you calling from today?
Can you hear me? Sorry, I was struggling to hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah, awesome. Where you calling from today, brother?
Thank you.
Living the dream, right?
And you're,
I'm from Phoenix right now. Oh yeah,
yeah,
hell
that's
yeah,
good.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, like we can dive right in and get started with the golf. You ready to go, brother?
Yeah, sure. I got notepad, so
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so
cool.
how this call is gonna go is I'll just start off asking you some questions that I prepared to help me understand where you're at currently and
Okay.
get some clarity on the next steps, and I'll walk you through what that entails. And then if it's a good fit, you'll submit everything today. But if not, no hard feelings. That sound fair?
Okay, yeah, sweet.
Cool, cool. So the best thing for me to start is what motivated you to hop on a call with me today, bro?
So we're currently looking at splitting off with the team, and so we're just looking to bring in some more dudes that can can um can be successful in the door-to-door solar industry.
Hmm.
It's probably one of, I mean, it's probably one of the toughest industries in terms of attrition, like people actually staying.
Yep.
But the people that do find success tend to stay. So
I was actually in solar for 2 years.
how did you like it?
It was good. It was good. I was, I mean, I had some good experience. I built a 50-man team in 3 months.
Oh,
My
damn.
my best month was 33 solar deals, cancellation. I also
Right.
that's how I transitioned up.
That's sick. And so right now you're just
So right here, he's taking control of the call. He's asking you the questions, right? So I want you to keep control of the call. We don't want the prospect asking us a whole bunch of questions at the beginning here. And it seems harmless, but a lot of it matters. What I want you to focus on at this beginning here is going deep, probing into the why he's here and understanding that at its depth. Right. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second here. Let's see where the call goes from here.
doing recruiting and helping people get more reps in.
Yep. Yeah. So pretty much the whole shebang. So I just take you from where you're at to where you want to go. So how long have you been at the current stage you're at right now, man?
So I've been I've been closing and
Okay, so right now we kind of transition from the why are you here to all right, where are you at now? What I want to encourage you to do is fully understand why he's here first before you look to understand how long he's been there and kind of the background details of his company. So that being said, I'll ask you, what kind of questions do you think you would have needed to ask to have a deeper understanding of where he's at?
Mm, I guess like how long he's been at the current stage he's at right now.
Nope, that's
Or
what you asked here. But what do you
oh,
need?
okay.
What do you need to know more about why he's on this call? Because that's what's important here. I need to know why you are here. What should we ask? Anyone could jump in, or Jackson, what do you think?
I think I didn't qualify this guy in the DMs first, and I think that's where I messed up because I think he took it as more of like it was just going to be an informational call.
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm talking about the very beginning here because you can always flip that. It's no big deal. But what do you think you would have needed to ask here in the beginning to understand why he's here on this call with you right now?
Literally, why?
curious to know.
Like, what got you to book this call with me?
He asked that, right? So we can go back to that. So he says, but soon to start, get to know, motivate you. So right here. So he
Sweet.
said,
Cool, cool. So the best thing for me to start is, what motivated you to hop on a call with me today, bro?
So we're
so
we're
he's,
currently
then he responds with this.
looking at splitting off with the team, and so we're just looking to bring in some more dudes that can can um can be successful in the door-to-door solar industry. It's probably one of, I mean, it's probably one of the toughest industries in terms of attrition, like people actually staying.
Yep.
But the people that do find success tend to stay. So
I was actually in Seoul.
So right here, instead of saying this, what should we have done instead to understand
Maybe
it
just like
more?
ask the same question in a different way, kind of like Trey taught me. It was just like, well, then what brings you to the call to then? Like, what brings you to the call? Just like
Close.
ask the
Yes.
same question in a different way.
Very,
Ask
very
him about
close.
the attrition.
What I would have asked specifically, so he said he's trying to split up from the team and bring in more successful door-to-door guys. I would have just simply said, well, split, what's going on? Tell me more about that. Why do you want to split up from the team? What's going on? Now he's taking it a layer further. Well, I want to split off the team because XYZ problem is going on. Tell me more about that problem. Well, this is the problem. He explains the problem in more detail. Again, we're going deep, not wide. We're going deep into the problem, why he's here, what brought him to the call. The deeper and the better we can understand that, the easier it'll be to close because we have a really core understanding of why he needs help, why he booked, why he jumped on. So what's going on with the team? Why do you want to split off? Well, because of this reason. Okay, tell me about that reason. Well, goes into a little depth. Now that we have the problem, we can go to the frequency. Okay, how long has that been a problem for the company? How long has it been a problem for you guys? Well, it's been a problem for this long. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how I would have handled kind of like the kickoff beginning of this call. And that's how you guys always want to handle it, is deep into why you're here. Always, always, always probe deep into that. Let's see where we're at here after that.
So how long have you been at the current stage you're at right now, man?
So I've been closing and kind of co-managing for probably about 3 or 4 months right now. We've brought in personally about 9, I think nine active recruits.
Okay.
But yeah, we're just looking to build the team, split off, have my own team, and yeah.
How many of those 9 guys are bought into you and follow you to your team?
I would say, I mean, I think all of them, but I mean, you never know. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, 9 of them.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, what is your vision lie going forward? Like, how do you see this playing out?
I mean, hopefully, if you're able to help me get a team going. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you obviously know how this job can change your life. If you can also change other people's lives and make a ton of money, it's pretty cool. So
it's amazing, bro.
Yeah. So
as far as what have you tried so far to accomplish? You mentioned that an amazing feeling. What have you done so far to build a team, get to where you want to go?
Yeah. So I mean,
so it just feels like we're zipping through. We're zipping through the call. We're going really, really fast. I want you to spend some more time there. Spend some more time in each section here. Spend some more time on the why. Spend some more time on where he's at. It sounds like we kind of asked some questions. I don't know if are we talking about his goals now? Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to spend a lot more time before that. And if we are talking about his goals, spend a lot more time. What's the goal? Why is that the goal? How long has that been the goal? Okay, you achieve that goal. What does that do for you? Right? And then you can say this next question. All right, well, what's keeping you from doing that on your own? What have you tried to get there? How did that go? And then what else have you tried? Right? Does that make sense? It seems like we're just we're going way too fast throughout this call right now.
Advertising on Instagram, all of that good stuff. Kind of just every avenue. I'm just trying to widen the funnel, essentially.
How's that work?
I mean, it's been good. The 9 dudes we have right now, I mean, they're pretty consistently getting sets and making money, which is cool. But again, you can always bring in more dudes. So
that way you can delegate roles and then you can focus on higher leverage opportunities, right?
Right.
So have you tried anything else? I know you just kind of mentioned expanding the funnel. Have you mentioned pretty much just cold outreach and then running a few ads every now and then?
Right. Yeah, I haven't. I don't really know any other avenues to recruit, especially for this industry.
And then I'll ask you this as well, Jackson. Why do you think I say more time needs to be spent there?
Because I feel like I don't have any ammo to really build off and find the real problem. I'm just kind of going off the script and not really really finding out what's going on.
So not enough ammo to like have a good pitch, you know, help in objection handling. That's one thing. Why else?
Because I can use that ammo for later in the close and really identify
That was the
uh,
first thing we said. Yep, not enough ammo.
the
Yep,
gap
we said that.
between where he's at to where he wants to go.
Yep, we said that already. What else? What else though? Michael said something. Michael said not deep enough to understand them. Very technical instead of being emotional. What do we why do we need to do this stuff though? Why do we want to spend time there? Why do we want to ask him more questions? Why do we want to ask him why he's here and really
Make
get
them
deep
feel like we
there?
really care.
That's part of it. So that's the second thing.
Build trust.
So build trust, right? Build trust in the fact that taking the time to actually understand his core motivations and feeling understood builds a lot of trust in the solutions that we provide. So that's the second thing. Third thing from Victor, they gotta feel pain in order to want to actually change. So time under tension, something I've talked about a lot of times, where over time, the more time you spend talking about it, the more you feel like, man, I gotta have it, I gotta get out of this thing. Juliet said as well, another powerful thing, they gotta admit their own problem. There's a lot of power in that admission, in him saying all the ways in which he sucks and needs help. All of those things were spot on. 100%. So that's why we need to spend some time there. That's why we need to dig in and have him visualize where he's at more, visualize the problem more, be very, very clear with what he needs help with. 100%. 100%. Good job, guys.
Street like how it's
Does that make sense, Jackson? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. You're cooking right now. I just
Cool. Let's keep going.
100% commission, door to door. So yeah,
So do you feel like you have a well-established culture within your office?
I would say so. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm really confident about. You know, everyone's getting paid, everyone's happy to be there, everyone's growing as an individual. So yeah, I would say definitely.
So just say this where to work and I get 20 recruits.
Right.
Would you have delegation of roles established? Do you have a vision and a plan of how you're gonna execute that mission?
So with these questions, they're good questions, but because we're not just going strictly off of what he's saying he wants, we're kind of just shooting in the dark. You're just throwing stuff out and hoping he's oh yeah, there's a problem there, and then we can go into it. Do you get that? Do you see what I mean?
yeah, that
We're
makes a
kind
lot
of
of
just
sense.
how's your culture? How's your this? What's going on there? And we're kind of trying to guess and hoping he's oh, now that you mention it, my culture sucks. And we're oh, awesome. That's something I can help you with. You know what I mean? We're kind of hoping he gives us that rather than starting off with why he's here, going deep, and then just keeping the call about that the whole time. Does anyone have any questions on how to actually do that? Because I know I've spent a lot of time talking about what it is, and other calls we went over it a lot, but does anyone have any questions around the how, or does anyone understand how or not understand how?
Go ahead and tell us.
Cool. Yeah, we could talk about how. The way I like to do it is this is the easiest way to do it. It doesn't require much thinking at all. Because a lot of people, what they do is they want to think about okay, what's the best question to ask here? What am I supposed to say next? What does the script say to do? When you think of it this way, you can ditch the script, you can ditch all of that thinking and just be fully present with the person. And I take it step by step when I'm on the call, and all I'm doing is listening to the sentence they just gave me, and I'm picking something out of that sentence to be curious about, to ask more about. That's it. So with him, when we kicked off the call, the first thing he said was, I'm splitting the team. And I want to bring in more door-to-door guys that are successful. So what am I picking out of that? I'm picking out splitting the team. So I'm going to say, well, why are you splitting the team? Then he's going to give me another sentence. I'm going to pick something out of that and ask a question about that other thing, that next thing he just said. So I'm just getting hyper curious on the last thing they said, being fully present, really paying attention until it's time to kind of transition to, all right, well, what are your goals or another part of the call? Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions on that? No questions? Does it make sense though?
Yeah, I love that. My question is the next thing is what's a nice way to transition then to the next Like, I guess the next piece would be the
Yeah,
issue,
well,
or
so the way I see it, I have the why you're here, some background questions on where you're at, like where the business is at. Then I have the goals, then solutions, and I kind of build some urgency with how important those solutions are and maybe a little bit of consequence questions. Then we go into our pitch and we go into the close. Now, to break it down a little bit further, when we're in that why section, I'm like, why are you here? Getting deep into, okay, what the problem is. This is why you're here. Cool. Then I go to the frequency of that problem. So how long has this been a problem? How often has this problem been happening? And then maybe how they felt about the problem happening for this amount of time. And from there, I transition to, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about the business. If there's any remaining background questions that I might have, if there's not, I'll then just go straight into goals. So one thing we can do, if you guys want, we can role play it a little bit. If you guys want to have some examples.
yeah.
Want an example? All right. Who wants to role play? We can do Jackson if you want to. We can do it since we've
Yeah,
spent some
let's
time
do
on
it.
your offer. So we'll just do a minute or two at the beginning here, and you can be the exact like avatar of this person if you'd like, or you could be a different avatar. So let's say I've just done the frame, and I'm saying, "Awesome, Jackson. So, what brought you here? Why are you here?"
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at splitting off on my team, looking to get more recruits. Yeah, really just trying to build my team.
Okay, what has you wanting to split off from the team?
Honestly, just I'm really trying to grow, make more money. I don't know, I just see like all the, the sales money everyone talks about, and I'm ready to see it.
You're saying trying to grow. What do you mean?
Just really like, scale this team, take on more responsibility and just try to impact more people.
And you mentioned like you need to split off from the team to do that.
Yeah, I mean, like there's just some things going on in the office, things just aren't really aligning, and ultimately just
Mhm.
kind of cause some drama. And I think just that split, I think that would be really beneficial for my guys to alleviate some of the pain and just really focus on, making more money.
Well, what's happening in the office?
I mean, just like with overrides and just, having fixed margins above everyone, like a lot of people just think it's, not really deserved. And people just like, I don't know, that just seems like that's the case.
Jeez. Yeah, I guess that can cause a bit of a hectic environment. What's kind of causing people to think that the overrides aren't like deserved?
Really, because like they're just doing less training. Um, they're kind of just sitting back, collecting the money and not giving the value.
Okay, so that's from like leadership. They're not necessarily giving enough value to the team.
Yeah, yeah. And then like as we're trying to grow, taking on more responsibility, I just don't feel like it's fair because we're not being compensated for that, because we're taking time out of, our time that we could be using to get more personal sales, and we're using that to help other people and not really being compensated for it.
So you said out of your time. So this is something that's happening to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and a bunch of the other teams, a bunch of the other guys on the team feel the same way.
Okay, so this whole splitting off thing what would that do for you?
It's just like a fresh start and just build a foundation and start doing everything the right way.
Okay, I guess that puts you in leadership or what's going on there?
Yeah, that's the whole reason. That's why I'm trying to grow a team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to split off and kind of build your own team because leadership hasn't really been up to par.
Yeah, and I feel like I have what it takes, and I now know what not to do, so I can do it the right way.
Okay. I mean, how long have you been on this team?
That's the thing. Like I'm a little unexperienced. I've been in sales for 9 months. I've been at like the current stage I'm at for like 3 months, because that's when I became a closer. I used to be a setter, and now like I'm really feeling confident. I'm starting to see results. I'm feeling really good about it. So just
You've been
looking
on
for
this
that next
team.
step.
You said you're on the team for 3 months, or you've been in sales for 3 months?
I've been a closer for 3 months. I've been in sales for 9. I was kind of, just learning everything. I was first I was a setter at the beginning, just transitioned to being a closer 3 months ago, and I've just been soaking up all the knowledge, and I feel really good about it now. So now it's time to scale.
And being on this team for the last 3 months, what was kind of like, when did you realize that leadership wasn't up to par and you kind of wanted to leave?
Well, I I'm really trying to make it work, but I just feel like if I don't make a change, I mean, I'm getting a lot of guys that are like reaching out to me to join their team. I feel like, some guys are reaching out to my guys, and I just don't want to lose everything that I've built. So it's more of just like prevention because I don't want to lose, these guys.
But when did these thoughts start to like arise? Because you've been on the team for 3 months. Was it the first day you got there, or when did it
I
start?
mean, the first day I got there, I wasn't really knowledgeable, and I just
Yeah.
like I didn't really know what was going on. But ever since like, I really just became a closer. I really like, just found out all the ins and outs of the business, and then just kind of saw like had some one-on-one conversations with my guys. They told me like how they're kind of stressed out, they're kind of talking about going home, but I luckily talked them out of it, just keep working hard, and then they're seeing, some good results, but I just things are not where they need to be.
And what's kept you there this whole time if things were so bad?
I mean, I really like to be like loyal. I mean, the guy like above me who everyone else just kind of just doesn't like
Mhm.
he brought me a lot of value. He taught me everything. And I mean, I hate the saying like the grass is always greener because that's not true. And I don't want to just like jump through hoops, to get paid more, or take on more responsibility. But I just feel like I'm kind of obligated to because if I'm going to keep my team, I mean, you know,
Mhm. Okay, so you want to really make it work with these guys here.
yeah.
Okay, well, and then I would just say, tell me about the business, get a couple background questions, go into goals. But that's kind of an example of like we're just talking about the things that matter, getting like really pulling out the emotions that he has around it, and going like I'm not going wide asking about all these things. I'm just really focused on like, why are you here, man? What's going on? Does that make sense? Was that helpful for anyone?
100%.
That was so cool.
And it was just like, again, there's no scripts, there's no nothing. I'm just listening to what he's saying, asking him to tell me more about the last thing he just said, picking something else out, asking for more. And every time I ask for more, I get deeper, deeper, and deeper and deeper into his why. I could have just assumed like, okay, cool, you want to start a new team? Awesome, great, what's the goal? Right? But now I really understand like he doesn't just want to start a new, because like what did the first call we just listened to with Jackson, you would just assume he wants to start a new team because he wants to make more money. But the way Jackson's explaining it right now, it's no, he wants to start a new team because like there's leadership problems, there's animosity being built, like there's all these things going on behind the scenes, and that's why that's the real why. That's why he's here. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, absolutely. That's funny because I did exactly the same thing yesterday. The only bad thing is like my call was like almost 2 hours and a half because I was going deep and deep and deep. And he was talking and talking and
Pouring
talking.
out.
Oh my God, I'm gonna stop right now. Otherwise, it's gonna be like 5 hours meeting. And it took me a while to close. So a quick question. So when is the right time to transition to the pitch? Because okay, you can go on and on, like asking deep questions, hey, yeah, like your current situation, your pain, blah, blah, blah. But when is it time to stop and hey, I think you're the perfect fit for my coaching program. And if you're interested, I can show you, blah, blah, blah. So when is it the right time to
Yeah.
do that?
And you'll learn more on timing, because like you could talk to someone for like 2-3 hours, but usually at that point it's become, you guys are talking that long because there's a lot of repetition in what's being talked about. It doesn't take that long to really like get to the bottom. Like with him, I think we talked for like what, 5 minutes or so, and we got to the bottom pretty quickly. So you're transitioning into the pitch. I mean, just following the framework. So right after You've gone over what they've like, why they can't do it on their own, what's stopping them from doing this, what they've tried, and maybe some like why is this important, why now kind of questions, urgency questions. Then I'm usually transitioning to the pitch. And as for the how to transition into the pitch, I'm usually just going to say something like, hey, listen, can I give you my thoughts? Yes. Then I'm going to give them my feedback, my thoughts on their situation. That could be me just giving them some high level overview of what they need to do. And usually that'll be coupled with a story, which could be a case study from a client I've worked with, or a personal story of myself. Like Jackson sounded like he had tons of experience with door to door. He could say something like, hey, it sounds like with the whole leadership thing, you need to do this because when in leadership, when I was doing door to door, this is my story, blah, blah, blah. So, dude, I think you're a great fit, and I could really break down exactly us working together and what that would look like so that you can get to XYZ goal. But you let me know, like, what questions do you have about the program, or what do you want to know about what we do? Or I could just break down what it looks like, because, yeah, I think you'd crush it with this. And from there, you would kind of jump into your pitch, right? So, I know a lot of people always have a question, how deep is too deep? But it's really, you'll learn to ask questions that usually going too deep just means you're asking a lot of wide questions instead of deep. But if you just stick to the problem right at the beginning and continuously ask about the right things of why they're there, you'll usually get there in like 5 to 10 minutes and be able to keep going. Usually it will never take so long, unless the person is a rambler and they really just got a lot of pain to pour out, which sometimes you're going to get those, which is okay. But if you're noticing a trend of like you're spending way too long on every call, it's probably just because you're asking, like, some of your questions there are unnecessary. But again, we can do a lot of theory talk, but I think, guys, the best thing to do is just bring your calls to these calls and we can just analyze them. And I can just tell you, like, hey, on this call, this is where we could have deviated to kind of get there quicker, or this is how these are the questions maybe we should have asked to expand that pain a little bit more and really have them ready to get going. Right. But, with that little example we did with Jackson, the whole time he's thinking, like the conversation we're having, the whole time he's processing and he's sitting there thinking, sitting in that pain of, man, leadership sucks. Man, I need to do something. I need to change this. I need to get out of this. And then it would have been the same thing on the desire side, where we're spending a lot of time talking about his goals, talking about the desire, talking about where he wants to be and why he wants to be there and and what changes for him when he does get there. To that, by the time we get to the end of the call, he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was exactly what happened to me. But I realized something as well, having another phone call today. Some people, they don't like to express that much. Some people, like, I had this call with this lady, and that was my decision to not work with her because I was asking the right question. I was aware of it. And she didn't want to open up that much. She didn't want to say, oh, because of this and that and that. And when I asked her a question, she was like, oh yeah, because of this. Okay,
well,
but why?
you gotta open them up as well. You gotta open them up, right? So you'll notice at one point when we did the role play, Jackson just wouldn't answer my question of how long he's been struggling with this thing on the team. And I asked it 3 times in 3 different ways until I got a sufficient answer, right? So sometimes you got to ask more than once. You got to keep asking the same question to get it. But I hope that helped. I do want to leave it there. Oh, go ahead. One more question. Go ahead.
So how about if they give you like a short question?
A short answer?
Yeah, sorry, a short answer, yeah.
You can use silence, or you can say, just tell me more about that. There's so much power in just being like, oh, nice, tell me more. Tell me more. Or you just give them space, be silent, let them flesh out more of their thoughts.
Let's see. Okay. Well, thank you.
Cool. Well, I'll leave it there for today, guys. I hope you all got some value. I'll post this recording in the community, just the Fathom link, so you guys can watch it back if you choose to do so. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Am I here? I think the week after. Oh yeah. So next week I'm here. The week after I'm not here, but I'll see you guys next week.